Hey, what's up, good people? So I have my video on for y'all today because we're going to talk about how to stay motivated for running during these cold winter months. Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to Miles from India. For our new people to this channel, I am India, and for my returning peeps, what's up and welcome back. So I don't know about you guys, but running during the winter months is a little bit difficult, to say the least, right? So I'm one of those people that I don't believe in seasonal running per se. However, I know when it comes to the wintertime, your girl is not running as much as I am during the spring or the winter. However, running at all is really, really good, and I try to really stay on top of it. So I still try to do my 3 to 4 days a week, but it also depends on what's going on for the spring. So of course, before I get into this, I know some of y'all are like, well, you live in Atlanta, it's not snowing, it's not like doing anything like my up north viewers or whatever. I get it, I totally get it. But listen, I'm born and raised in Atlanta, and that means anything 40, 30s, 20s, which have been on the forecast, is just too cold. However, I feel like when it comes to running, as long as it's 30 degrees or above, I'm good. Let's get out and get these miles in. Now, of course, I don't have any tips for you for snow running because I just don't live in that climate, and that's just not my area of expertise. But I do want to talk about a couple things that helps me to stay motivated during the wintertime to keep pushing and getting the miles in. So of course, not only is it like wintertime, but daylight savings, all of that goodness. So it's dark later in the morning, and by the time you get off work at 5 o'clock, it's already dark and it feels like 8 o'clock. And it's like, how do we process that? Or if you don't like running in the dark, kind of what do you do? So during the wintertime, a good old headlamp is one of my favorite friends. When I tell you guys, it's something that I use all the time during running, except for on the weekends. So during the wintertime, I like to think back to my summer training when I'm actually running at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to beat the heat. Whereas during the wintertime, I get to sleep in and I can run later. Now, a tip about running later in the wintertime, obviously because the temps are warmer, but you want it to warm up a little bit so you're not like in the dead cold. So of course, early in the morning, it could be super cold, but if you wait until 9, 10 o'clock, usually it warms up a little bit. So try to sleep in a little bit or do some other things before you go out for a run. That is very helpful for the weekends. Now, of course, depending upon your work schedule, you may not be able to do that, but that's something that I look forward to when it comes to winter running. Now for me, during the week is where the struggle really takes place. The weekends is not that bad, but of course during the week is really hard. So something that I love to do is I actually like to set my clothes out at night. This helps to set my intention for the day, for the morning of what I'm going to be doing the next day. Meaning have those clothes laid out, know exactly what you need, have your headlamp, your scarf, your buff, whatever it is that you need. Have that sucker laid out so that you know you're training your brain that I'm gonna get my behind up and I'm gonna go for a run in the morning or in the evening or the afternoon, whatever works best for you. Along with sitting those clothes out, I have a little, well, it's not a really little, but I have a space heater in my room for those mornings when you know the bed is super warm and the feeling right outside of those covers is chilly and you just know that it's cold outside. So I'd like to see if I can set a timer for that heater so that it will click on and you can actually have the air in your room to start to heat up the room so that you will want to get out of bed. And of course, speaking of getting out of bed, it is always easier to have your alarm clock or your phone across the room so it forces you to get up out the bed, and turn the alarm off, and then you stay out of the bed. We understand those mornings are super hard, but whatever it is to trick yourself to get on up and get these miles in. I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. Let's talk about these two things first. Now, of course, set your clothes out, do whatever you need to do. But I think mentally, and I think this is what jogged my memory to this tip, is we're talking about setting your intentions for what you're doing for the next day, but that also to me equates to goal setting. So you want to ensure that you are setting your goals or what that looks like. During the wintertime, I find myself doing or setting goals at smaller increments versus monthly increments. So I say, okay, this week I'm going to be intentional about running twice in the morning and 2 times in the evening this week. I'm going to be intentional about running really, really good and staying on top of my hydration as well as my running for the next 2 weeks. So I find that with winter running, if you set your increments of goals in a smaller, to a smaller scale and not so much months at a time, it helps you to stay on top of those goals, because not only are you a little bit discouraged because the weather is not so awesome, but not having enough sun and all of those things start to compile on you. So if you set the goal smaller, that's always great. Now, something else that I love to do when it kind of in the fall, when we're in the fall and we're about to start transitioning into the winter, is I like to set some kind of race goal for the spring. Now, for me, if I set a spring race goal, that means that I have to train during the winter time to make sure that I am ready. Now, of course, with COVID-19, things are looking a little different, and honestly, we're unsure about what exactly is going to be happening spring 2021. However, and a lot of races unfortunately have already been canceled. However, I think that it is important for us to set our own goals that may not be associated with the in-person or physical race that we can get to for the spring. So for me, I'm going to potentially be running the Publix half marathon. I haven't made a decision on that yet. If I do, I will have to start training next week, but we'll talk about that another time. But if I find something that I am looking forward to for the spring, it helps me to stay focused and recharge and keep pushing to keep my fitness and running together for that time, because no one wants to start the year or get into the spring and you are just not ready because you fell off all winter. So my next tip also has to do with the mindset, but it's a little bit different. So I know a lot of you guys hear the conversation of getting on the treadmill, which is also called the treadmill. So a lot of people call the treadmill because they really, really don't like it. However, that's also a mindset. If you're always gonna call the treadmill a treadmill, you're never gonna love the treadmill and you're never gonna get on it. So I think we have to really reset our mind frame and also reset our verbiage that we're saying towards things so that we can start to like it. So winter running is amazing for treadmill running. So for people that like the treadmill or would like to get into the treadmill is a great alternative. So ensuring that you are introducing new variety to your workouts is something that is imperative. So whether that be the treadmill, which we know that everybody doesn't have access to that, but the treadmill is awesome, as well as jump rope. We tend to underestimate the goodness of a jump rope. Jump rope is amazing cardio. It still works out good pieces of your legs. You're also getting arm workouts. So don't forget that that's something you can do as well. And then also ensuring that you're still strength training. Work on those weaknesses or areas that you tend to neglect during full onset training. Ensuring that you're still doing strength training, you're stretching and you're foam rolling, and working on those areas, getting your leg days in, getting your core days in, because all of those are so important when it comes to running. And I don't know how I forgot spin as well. Spin is awesome. Y'all, Braxton got a Peloton and he really doesn't get on it, so I'll be using that this winter to keep myself on track. So of course, ensuring that you have top-notch gear is really, really important. So I'm going to do a separate gear video of things that I use during winter running. However, it is so important to have the adequate gear so that you are equipped for the cold. It is very different, of course, in different areas of the world as far as the type of gear that you need. So just making sure that you have top-notch gear. And also for me, new year also means a little bit more motivation. So if you need to buy you a new winter vest that you can run in, a running vest, or a new winter jacket, or a new long sleeve, or a new beanie, whatever it is to keep you motivated, definitely do so. Add it to your Christmas wish list. I know Christmas is like well off into the winter time, but at least add it to the list so that you're prepared. And one of my favorite things to do during winter running is also to meet up with groups or friends. I think it's a little different now that it's COVID, but if you have at least one running buddy that you can run with, that's always great. And that helps you to foster a lot of accountability. So on those days or those mornings when you know that you're supposed to get up and run and you have someone that you're supposed to be meeting, That helps you to get your behind out of the bed and say, let's go, because you know that you're meeting with someone or a group of people. So having an accountability partner is really, really good, not only when it comes to running, but also any of your workouts. Lastly, remind yourself of your why, regardless on if that is because you have a spring goal. Your why is your spring goal. If it is that you want to stay fit and healthy through the holidays, if it is because you want to stay fit and healthy for your family or soon to be family or want to be family, do whatever it needs to be and remember why. Ensure that you are having those whys visible. Like for me, I like to post my whys on my mirror in my bathroom. This is an idea that I have. I can post them there. I have a lot of different bulletin boards that are in my room that has my goals, my race bibs, as well as my medals are also visible. So those are motivational pieces. So do whatever you can to ensure that your why is visible and that you remember your why, and that will definitely help you to get through winter running. All right, so of course, I know that all of those tips may not work for everyone, but those are just some good ones to definitely think about. Winter running is different for everyone, and it also is a time where we get a little bit more sad and kind of the holidays are not always 100% or exciting for everyone. And I want to let you guys know that I completely understand that. So when you don't feel motivated, when you may have a little bit of depression or anxiety setting in, I know that it is really hard to motivate yourself to get running and working out. But I want you to remember that you are not alone and that there are people that are here for you, including myself. You want to ensure that you are keeping your health together, and that can help to fuel your physical health, can help to fuel your mental health as well. Don't neglect yourself. We all understand that the holidays it can be fun, but it also can take a toll and help and take us away from the things that we love, such as running and self-care. I hope these tips were very helpful for you all and you can use some of them. Definitely hit me up in the comments if there are certain tips that you use for wintertime running. Ensure that you drop those below. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope that you like content like this, and if so, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I try to post a new video to this channel every week, so definitely check that out. I hope you all have a great holiday and continue to do well during these winter months and stay positive. And don't forget to celebrate every step, every stride, every mile. Take care.